Odd timing. Hey guys, what's going on? Just it's Monday. It's the first thing I'm doing, waking up. I'm about to go to the gym. Uh, About to get my week started right. I am on vacation for the next 2 weeks from work, so I'll be putting out a lot of videos, a lot of content, and there's a lot of things I have to talk about. But the first thing I want to talk about, first and foremost, is hope you had a happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope you got as fucked up as I did. The fact that I'm going to the gym today is nothing short of a miracle. But there's a game I want to talk about, and I mentioned it last week. I started playing it last week. I played quite a bit of it off stream, and I want to definitely talk about it. I want to talk about its flaws. I want to talk about what makes it so great because it is a great game. It's SimCity. Now, I wasn't going to buy this game originally till maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now. The reason being is that I had heard about the server problems. I didn't want to buy it on release because I didn't want to be a guinea pig. You know, some people, when it comes to online only games, they don't mind purchasing it first. They're comfortable with the company's ability to maintain a stable server, but there were just so many people who bought it that EA just couldn't handle how many fucking people there were. So I found that out like a day or two in when I was considering buying it, and I just had to wait. My friend finally convinced me to buy it because he bought it. So he said he wasn't having any problems getting on, and I bought it, and I didn't have any problems getting on really. So let me just talk about some of the things that made this game great, and I still play it, so don't make it seem like I'm not gonna play it anymore. SimCity, for those of you who don't know what it is, you know, you probably know what the Sims are. Think about controlling a city full of them. It's an old game that was out on the Nintendo about 30 years ago. I believe that's the first one. I don't see how anything could have really come before that. I'm pretty sure there was no SimCity on Atari. And the premise is to build a city where people live, and your goal is, a lot like maybe Roller Coaster Tycoon or something, where you need to get as many people living happily in your city as possible. Now, you get a limited amount of space for the city, but luckily in SimCity 2013, there's this thing called regions. Regions are neighboring cities from which you can buy power, water. People can volunteer their city services to you, such as firefighters, police officers, sewage, things like that. You're able to work together. You can buy coal, you can export coal, oil, ores, anything, and it works great because that's what made the online aspect of it so perfect. I played with some with my friend, and we made our own 16 city region. And that's what we started doing. After our first cities were done, we started making other cities that had resources that both of our cities needed. And it was a really big team aspect, which when you think of a city building game, even on an online one, you don't necessarily think that there's a big team aspect to it. When there actually is, and it was refreshing to play a game where I had to work together with somebody, and it was actually pretty beneficial to have them on Skype most of the time. I could say, listen, I'm going to be building a university, so you send your people over here. Just make sure that you have grade schools and high schools, so that at least one grade school and high school, so that they're educated enough to get here. Also, yet you can build the community college because you have a lot more low to medium wealth population. There's just a lot of teamwork that goes into this sandbox type game, and it's very rare that a sandbox type game has that much creativity. The only other ones I really think of are Minecraft and Terraria, which are directly creative survival games. Sure, some would say they're primarily survival games, but with the creativity that comes out of so many people, creative mode has pretty much just become a place to create these adventures, and without it, the game wouldn't be nearly as popular. So what can I say that's good about it? Obviously, I've already said in the description what you can do. The premise of it, there's a lot more to it than that. There's such things as disasters that can occur randomly, like zombie outbreaks and giant monster attacks. There's you can summon these disasters after getting certain achievements. There's trading. There's making sure that the land has exactly what you need. There's great works. There's a lot of things I'm going to leave unexplained because there's a lot of things to say, and this video could go for hours if I tried to break apart everything. Let's just say one of the pros of the game is that it gives you a lot of options and it teaches you how to play the game properly. Even if you don't play the tutorial, the way that people ask you for things, it's obvious how you're supposed to be progressing your city. People say there's not enough medium wealth jobs, build parks or city services. Well, there you go. That's what you need to do. If you need more medium wealth, that's what you need to do. Now, some might say that takes some of the strategy aspect of it, but once you've already built a working city, nothing is more difficult than having to tear half of it down just to upgrade it. It's a serious, serious mental issue that people might have destroying something that they've already worked so hard to build up. But you know what? It's something that has to be done if you want your city to keep growing like that. Maybe you want more. Maybe you want some low wealth workers, and maybe you want them to be taking the train or something to a nearby city. But you need to make sure that if that's your goal, that that's what the rest of your city and or your neighboring cities are capable of supporting. Otherwise, it gets pretty difficult to get past that 50K people mark. Until you start getting a lot of apartment buildings and a lot of wealthy people, some good industrial, and you definitely need some nearby towns, a train system, a streetcar system, good schools, good buses, good places to shop. You need all these things balanced, and I'm telling you, the space for it is not that big. What'll usually mess you up is the terrain, though, because you have to make sure that the area you pick has terrain where you can properly build. I lucked out, and my initial terrain was really easy to work with. I might be able to make a video and show how I started my city, but I might wait till a little bit later today after I get back from the gym to do that. So everything I just said was a pro, regardless of how concise I may have said it. They were all things that I enjoyed. The creative aspects, the teamwork aspects, and even the solo play aspects are fine. Just because you don't have someone to work with directly like I did my real life friend doesn't mean that you can't figure out just by looking at your surroundings what people need and what people don't need. And it's really great as long as you can find a region where there's enough other people playing. So, and where there's enough people that didn't just take all the nearby cities, because that's something you can do. You can just keep taking other cities near you, even if you're playing in like an online a public region. So sometimes it gets hard to find regional games. That's a con. Now, the only real cons I ran into, and I wouldn't say there were cons, I'd say that they all kind of fall back on this whole server stability thing. It's definitely more stable than it was when it first came out, but there's still some things. I mean, it is an online only game, so it's to be expected. Something's gonna go wrong at some point because a what if your wireless router cuts out? That's the most basic thing that can happen to you. That's not on their end. It is a drawback of an online only game, but it is something that you must be prepared for, similar in Diablo 3. And when their servers do have problems such as stability or syncing errors, and this usually happens around primetime gaming, which is when the adult gamers get home from work, the kid gamers get home from school, and they just jump right on the game. The servers get congested, and sometimes they fall out of sync with your city. What will happen is your city, you'll keep working on it, but it won't be synced with the server. When you leave that game, you need to make sure that it says that you synced your city. Make sure your internet connection was good. Make sure that it says that you are properly synced before you shut that game off. If you don't, when you come back, your city will be corrupted. Now, I don't mean that like something like terrible will happen to your city. I mean, think of it like a PlayStation 2 save file. That little square you get that says corrupted. It'll say that you have two choices because your city didn't sync up when you logged off. You either have to abandon the city, which is never the best option, or you have to roll it back. Rollbacks obviously means roll it back to the point where it was synced, the last time that the server saw it. And this happened to me my first time playing after maybe 7 or 8 hours. And or 4 or 5 real. I have a 7 or 8 parts on YouTube, so but yeah, that's what it is really. You have to make sure that you get it synced up. But those were the only two real drawbacks I had. Other than that, finding regional games is a drawback, and occasionally unsyncing of the server because it is an online only game became a problem. But other than that, the game is really clear. The game gives you complete control. It lets you know what the people want. It lets you know what the people like, and it's very easy to go about and actually replace it once you get past that mental block I mentioned. So that's all I really need to say about it. It is a great game, especially if you can buy it with a few friends. I would recommend three friends, not, well, recommend three people to play it with, maybe four, all start in one region, all work together. Definitely do that, and it's way more fun. It's way funnier. Um, and just yeah, I recommend you buy SimCity if you're teetering about it because we do have a lot of other big name games coming out, especially tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. It's the big game release day of the week, and I'm pretty sure there's a few titles people are looking to pick up. So definitely look at it if you were on the border about it, if you're still on the border about it, and if not, I hope you enjoy whatever games you're buying tomorrow, and maybe I'll see you on SimCity in the future. I will see you guys later. I gotta hit the gym. My body is really sore from the bar the other night, but you know, it's Jersey. It's Jersey life, boy. That's all. That's all you gotta see. This is. I gotta go to the gym like this. There we go. Okay, but I will be streaming later, so I'll see you guys later.